Hello, everyone. Peyton Douglas here with the National Sports Media Association. Today, I'm here with the New Hampshire Sportscaster of the Year, Mike Murphy. Congratulations on this huge accomplishment, and thank you so much for being here today.
Wow, Peyton, that means a lot coming from you. Thank you so much. It's my feet haven't hit the ground in months. It's been very exciting.
That's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about what it means for you to win this award?
You know the old cliche, it never gets old, right? I know you've done your research, and this is 9 for me. I'm about 20 behind Jim Janot, the greatest sportscaster New Hampshire's ever seen. But when I talked to Dave Gorin and he called and told me the news, I'm ecstatic every time. It means so much to be selected by your peers. And even in a state like New Hampshire, we're not the biggest state, first in the nation primary, fewest sportscasters. I don't know, but it is exciting to represent the Granite State once again.
That's an incredible honor, and you have a great track record, it seems. Okay, so I'm curious to hear about what led you into the sports media industry, what your first job was. Take me along your career path.
So what led me into it, Peyton, was when I was probably 8th grade. I finally realized when I wasn't making the varsity baseball team or the Babe Ruth League, whatever one where the bases got longer, I realized my original dream of becoming a professional baseball player wasn't going to happen. So I sat with my dad and said, now what? What can I do with my life? And somewhere along the conversation, he said, the people who broadcast that you hear on the TV when you're watching your favorite teams, the Yankees and Mets, they went to college for this. They get paid to do that. And the light switch went off basically then, strange as it sounds, that I then made up my mind, I'm going to be a broadcaster, sportscaster, figure this stuff out. Haven't done that part yet, figuring it out, but I've chased that passion ever since. It led me to Syracuse, graduated from there in 1995. That's a long time ago. Met a lot of like-minded people, a lot of more successful classmates, and many who have come since. And one of the exciting things about coming to the NSMA Awards is so many Syracuse people are there, the highest level in the case of an Iron Eagle, for instance. But in my own career, it led me to, all right, go work wherever you'll find a job. So I got my first job in Concord, New Hampshire, which I was a senior in Syracuse at the time, engaged to get married. I was getting married 2 weeks after graduation, had to get a job. Wouldn't recommend any of those things, by the way, to those watching at home. But that's what I did back in 95. So when I had a chance to interview for a job that paid me $13,000 a year, it was offered to me the day before my wedding. My wife, who was born and raised in Naperville, Illinois, cried her eyes out, but she said yes to the job, yes to the marriage. And I make like double what I made then. So things have worked out, and I'm still in New Hampshire all these years later. And, fast forward, getting the play-by-play opportunities still is my favorite thing to do. And I work full-time in college athletics, not as a broadcaster, but fortunately here at the University of New Hampshire, I'm still able to broadcast play-by-play for a number of sports, most prominently our men's hockey team, and it's a blast. I enjoy it every day.
That's awesome. You talked a lot about your play-by-play experience. Do you have one game that stands out that probably has been your favorite game to commentate?
I guess if I had to pick one, it'd be baseball, because I did minor league baseball for many years. And I got into it in 2004, which was the first year that the Toronto Blue Jays AA affiliate moved to New Hampshire, the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. So here it is, my first play-by-play job that took a whole summer, and worked alongside Bob Lippman himself, a multi-time New Hampshire Sportscaster of the Year. And we didn't know any better. We're learning on the fly. But the team went all the way to the championship series, and we won the Eastern League Championship against the Altoona Curve. And it was just really exciting to call the last out of the championship. I figured we'll win a lot more. I never called another championship. As it turns out, I've called some big games, some fun games, traveled all over the place, but that was the one, winning the Eastern League title against Altoona. My goodness, that was a long time ago, 2004.
That's awesome. So I'm always curious, were there any sportscasters that you looked up to growing up or when you were first getting into the industry?
Yes. In fact, going back to that conversation I had with my father all those years ago, I started to research the people I saw on TV, where they went to college. And funny how Syracuse's name comes up even now. But then, Bob Costas was a big deal. He was doing the baseball game of the week on NBC, also was covering football, NBA. So Syracuse was his school. Marv Albert with the New York Knicks, whose son is such a great broadcaster now. Marv was a Syracuse guy. Even though I didn't go to Syracuse, I love Chris Berman and his energy on ESPN with Sports Center and all the nicknames he would give people. So those were the big ones really growing up. The voice of the New York Mets was a Murphy, not related to me, but Bob Murphy on the radio. Really enjoyed him. So yeah, I really gravitated to those folks. And even as the years went along, more recently, Mike Tirico, Ian Eagle, Dan Schulman, John Miller, just a lot of really good ones. I've tried to model myself after, failed miserably, but still as a fan, I know a game feels bigger when one of those individuals is on the call.
That's very, very interesting. And it's always interesting to hear the inspiration that went into your entire career and everything. So I'm curious, do you have any advice for a college student like me looking to enter the sports media industry?
Sure. I'll start with, play-by-play, right? If you want to be a play-by-play announcer, you have to do it, right? You can watch as many games as possible. You can read books, memorize rosters, but you have to put yourself in the stands, watch TV, turn the volume down, record yourself, go through the painstaking process of listening and critiquing yourself. I still hate the sound of my own voice. I'm sure it's grating on you as this conversation's gone on, but you have to do it, Peyton. You have to say, geez, I wish I had a better delivery. I wish I wouldn't keep using that word. I'm notorious that when I broadcast hockey, the league leader in goals is rebound. Because I always say shot, save, rebound, score. Well, darn it, I should know the name of the person scoring, and rebound should stop leading the league in scoring. So repetition, get people you trust to listen and give you critique as well, and keep that stiff upper lip. No one wants to hear how terrible they are, but it's not always great to hear how great you are either. People want to fluff your feathers for you and say how wonderful you are, but you know better, right? I could definitely have done better here. So you can't be afraid to go do it and then have people who are in the profession critique. And you'd be surprised by simply networking, someone your age, finding people out, which is great. You'll meet people at the awards, but people with email addresses and phone numbers, just by reaching out in the industry. Generally speaking, sometimes folks are too busy on a particular day and making them at the wrong time. But generally speaking, people like to help others out. Hey, thanks for reaching out. I'll be willing to listen to this. Oh, you want a job in this market? I don't know anybody there, but so-and-so might. People do try to pay it forward and help out. So don't be afraid to, you don't want to be so persistent that you're annoying, but those initial reach outs are not annoying. In fact, they're flattering for a lot of us who are like, gee, someone cares about my opinion. So, and make sure you love what you do. I don't know in your specific case, sports media is a broad brush, but if when you wake up in the morning, you put your 2 feet on the ground, you're excited about what comes next. I'm lucky that in my age of 50 years old, I'm still doing that in my career. That's my wish for you and others who try to get into the field, because I told you with my anecdote of $13,000 a year, I wasn't far off as the kind of money that you will make early on. So don't make any long-term investment plans until you really get yourself established in the field.
Well, thank you so much. That was actually extremely helpful, especially for someone. I'm a junior right now in college, so it's very helpful to hear an optimistic outlook on the sports media industry, because I know it's very difficult to get into. Okay, well, thank you so much for doing this interview, and I hope to see you in person in June at the award ceremony.
It sounds fantastic. Thanks so much for having me.
Perfect. Okay, have a good day.
You as well.